this last weekend.
By the way, great leverage. Great leverage on that. Excited to chat about that. Excited to chat about the playoff picture for everybody. Happy Zito. Your poll today. Sorry, Lord Zito. Thank you. By the way, I did see somebody buy QC5348. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
gee.
What do you mean? Yeah, my wife. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Clock's gone.
Yeah. Might be her neighbor, but seems like she's probably.
Yeah, I think it was a neighbor. I think half.
Yeah.
Half after.
Probably a neighbor. Yeah. Do I call her Lord Samantha?
Yeah.
Lady Sam.
Lady Sam.
Lord is lady.
Lord Seaton, Lady Sam. Okay, I would try to get one there. I guess if I can't just. Lord Pat. I don't like it. Maybe just Lord Zito. But your poll today is one that I think is going to be intriguing because here we are pretty late in the season. Yeah. And I feel like there's still a lot of question marks whenever it comes to who's going to win this whole goddamn thing. Aside from the Chiefs, who's going to win this whole goddamn thing?
Yeah, so basically what you just said.
Oh, by the way, I just said, goddamn, I apologize. I got a tweet from a guy. Told me to the people that are super religious, goddamn is like the N-word to them.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So I apologize, but it ain't gonna goddamn slow it down. It just flows right out. And I feel like you're a bit self-righteous, by the way, saying a little bit kind of similar.
No.
Jesus. Oh, no, Joel Osteen, $4.4 million. BBB.
How about that?
God bless. But that goddamn church didn't deserve it.
I
will slow it down, by the way.
Who's most likely to win the Super Bowl in your eyes? We had Saints, 3.1%, Bills, 8.1%, Packers, 25.5%, and Chiefs, 63.3%. A lot of people were mad that it was loaded up.
Well, Pittsburgh Steelers didn't win a game. They need to get back in the winning side of things. Although they do have double-digit victories already, and they are in the lead, the AFC North. And the AFC North, by the way, is good football. We saw that last night. But, boy, it seems like everything around the Steelers right now is taking not just having Fox, this stupid fanhood, but being a diehard fanhood, sorry. But also, Juju Smith-Schuster, that whole dancing on the logo thing, and then Eric Ebron thing, and then Ben Roethlisberger's like, I can't play football anymore now. I mean, it's a dance we're getting to our face. We're going to let the team kind of settle in a little bit. Maybe they're a little bit tired, let the boys hit the hay for a little bit, maybe get a day or two rest. But it feels like the Steelers have kind of TikTok their way out of that conversation. Who's going to the Super Bowl? That is a shame. I will say this. We were maybe their number one fans for a long time.
Yeah, as of right now, I mean, if you are a Steelers fan, you cannot look yourself in the mirror and think that if they're playing this way, that they have any chance. By the way, the TikTok's little Juju army, they'll fuck themselves. Yeah.
They come after you?
Yeah.
I love that they're potentially chopping their feet on Diggs' brain. Are you in the battle right now? Are you entrenched in war right now?
Yeah, with a bunch of 15-year-olds who have no idea what life is. Yeah. Juju bees.
I'll tell you what.
What's up, called? Wait till you get to the real world.
You do not want any pieces.
No more participation trophies.
You don't want the Juju army.
No
Way, dude. We're pretty pumped up that Juju army's on our side, by the way. But that guy right there is the enemy if you're watching.
I never said that's the reason why they
lost. That guy right there is the enemy. That guy is the enemy, Juju army. What's up, Nick? That guy is too. Nick Yolanda, that guy.
I haven't said anything.
Oh, yeah.
All I want to say is you're already dancing on the grave. Wait till next Monday night. You'll see what a real AFC North battle is. Steelers and Bungles. Let's go, baby.
I cannot believe that is the Week 15 Monday Night Football matchup.
You know, it'll be game of the year. It's supposed to be Joey B.
Yeah, somehow. But that just tells me a lot about, I assume Monday Night Football has their contract for another couple of years because normally, whenever you negotiate with the NFL and you give them a bunch of money, you get a bunch of good games. For them to have the Steelers versus the Bengals, Week 15 Monday Night Football, you would think that there's potentially some other opportunities in there.
I can tell you what the Steelers don't need right now. It's another fucking primetime game. We need a buried 1 o'clock game where no one's watching.
By the way, Zach Taylor, who has never been able to figure out how to win a game really in the NFL, if he beats the Steelers, oh my God, Foxy might have to burn his jersey.
Monday night is not
Diggs, it's a bad day. Bad day. That's why the Juju Army's coming after you, by the way, because you don't believe. By the way, those dances, we don't do the TikTok here, but we saw Juju this morning. He was on Good Morning Football. He did the scepter thing dance. Yeah. Are they all the same? Did he do the same dance he did on the Buffalo Bills logo? Is that the same one he did on the Cowboys logo?
I think that was a logo dance, and that was a scepter dance.
Okay, so they are taking your is. You on TikTok?
No, but I've seen it, and I know what's going on.
1-888-623-3646. Last night's game a scoregami, the first time that score has ever happened. Most points in the final 2 minutes since 2013 Ravens-Vikings game with 20. It's the highest scoring game of the season and third highest Monday Night Football, 89. Chiefs-Rams, was it 2 years ago? That was whenever the Rams were humming. That was the first year. That was in Los Angeles. We were there. Alex and I were there for that game. It's awesome. Pretty cool. First game, pretty cool. First game to end on a safety since 2016. That obviously fucked a lot of people over. And first game in NFL. What a Monday Night Football game. That's what's true. Hey. That's what we need.
Yes, that's why I watched the game.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need those because some people are bad at football. You know what I mean? There's some blowouts.
Yep.
There's some deep. I mean, there's a backdoor covering that came out of nowhere. I mean, not that it did last night, but last night was a great performance of football by the NFL. And I was very thankful for it.
Remember the week before when it was all bad matchups, but like all the games were incredible, and then this week it was like 7 matchups of playoff teams, and all the games stunk. So maybe we just need like bad matchups again.
Well, good news. Pittsburgh Bengals. That'll be a conversation. We got to get to a break here. It is Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, December 15th. We have Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports joining us on the other side. To be honest, we love Charles.
Love Charles.
Big Chuck.
CEO of Yahoo Sports.
We're not sure if that's the case, but it does feel like he's potentially the only person that works at Yahoo. But he has not tweeted for like 5 months. I think during the season he just goes into hibernation. No idea what we're going to talk about. I have no clue what he's going to be rolling on. Excited to hear about it. I have a lot to say, no idea. And we answer some of your phone calls. And we have a segment, questions from the Twitter. Big day. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. This is the Pat McAfee Show. You got about 4 minutes with some dinner break. So do what you got to do. Go wake up the arms. Dig it. Wake them up. They eat a lot of carbs so the vascularity could be back. So you got to tell you this. A perennial pro, an all-pro, a man who's aging like fine wines, Green Bay Packers legend, Super Bowl champion from Butte, California, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me that's going to be a good time. What's the longest you've ever talked?
It's somewhere between 60 and 70 now. That's what's good. We're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. I have long hair. I'm a backup. And before the game, we walked down the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Beat Box, whatever. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir to get.
So they took maybe 20.
Editors, had it yesterday, by the way.
I was.
Had double beef and cheddar, smokehouse brisket, hot sticks, curly fries, cheese. I fucking and an apple turnover, by the way.
Come on. You really did it.
I fucking did it. I told you guys I've been eating a lot of carbs, thought these vascularity would wake up a little bit, but it's not dairy. Oh, what? But shout out to Arby's, by the way. I took a picture of the apple turnover because I hadn't had one in a while, and it was unfucking believable. Oh, when it touched my mouth, I loved it. I wanted more of it. It was so good. It was so good. And right now, you can get free delivery on DoorDash of Arby's of orders of $15 or more when you use promo code BEACH. Shout out to Arby's. Get Arby's, get all the shit I just talked about and more. 10 different meats, 25 different sandwiches, a deep menu, and such incredible stuff. Delivered right to your door with DoorDash. It's $15. They're like, do you want us to call Chuck earlier? And I said, no, we'll get some phone calls first. But then there was some things said before we went live on the air back there that I potentially thought, that he was, is that funny? Everybody's having a good old laugh. What were they saying? Yeah. The toxicity of that back room back there. Is it spewing out? The toxicity of that back room leaked into my earpiece there. And it was kind of a misleading toxic. You know what I mean?
These guys.
It's disgusting. Let's go to Michael in California. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Yeah, well, I've just been deceived a little bit, but it's an Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, so things are good. What do you want to talk about, Michael? Great to see you, pal.
Hey, man, so Drew Lock this past weekend had the best passer rating in the NFL. I just want to talk potentially if Horse Hawk lost the pack.
Okay, hold on. I did not expect that one. Okay, I appreciate that nickname. He did look smooth. I mean, did not watch the game. Broncos-Panthers did not matter to anybody in anything except for Broncos-Panthers fans, which, by the way, shout out to you guys. I like where the Panthers are headed. The Broncos, I like what you guys are doing too. Wild situation just a couple weeks ago. All the quarterbacks obviously were pulled off the practice field. And I think at that moment, everybody decided outside of Denver not to take the Broncos serious anymore because kind of had some things going against them. I like Drew Lock. Always have been a Drew Lock fan. I have no idea if he's a guy that can win you a Super Bowl. I have no idea. Highest quarterback rating, he said, in the NFL this past weekend. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that because I like Drew Lock. But I got no idea if he's the guy that can win you a Super Bowl.
Can you even trust them as your CEO, especially if they're not wearing masks?
Well, now, granted, protocols are protocols. The rules is the rules. But, if he was trying to bond a little bit closer with the boys, maybe have a moment, they know he was getting caught on candid camera and stuff. And that it could be potentially problematic. But also, I get a lot of tweets daily almost from people telling me that John Elway needs to fucking fire himself. So I think the Broncos are in the middle of a potential interesting situation that's about to. Is Vic Fangio going to be the coach next year? Probably not. Is Drew Lock going to be the quarterback in the future? Who knows what's going to happen with John Elway? Is he still going to stick around and win a Super Bowl? I guess so. That's good. But I mean, it's just like that. The Denver Broncos are one massive question mark. And they're in a city that everybody seems to love, so that'll probably take off up there.
Drew Lock kind of reminds me of like a Kmart vet staff. He can great arm.
Kmart is quite a shot.
Huge diss.
That is a huge.
No. It's a great.
Kmart
do the rollback specials.
I think that was Walmart.
That's
Walmart. I think. Yeah, Kmart is quite a shot. Like Goodwill, I think would have been a much nicer thing to say about Drew Lock than Kmart. I believe Walmart, ultimate compliment. Okay, especially coming from this show.
Especially the Super Center.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. Get it all in. Okay. But the Kmart, that was quite a shot, and I don't know if you meant it to be.
No.
Yeah, you did.
A lesser version.
Toxic Pony. I think Matthew Stafford, and this is going to say, we say this all the time because their team has stunk for so long, he deserves more credit. I think he deserves more credit. Not that Drew Lock can't be, but I'm just saying, Stafford's been, he was drafted the same year I was. Yeah, I've been retired for 4 years at this point. So, I mean, he's still doing it.
Drew Lock throws a lot of bad interceptions.
A lot of them. He threw like 4 in one game. I tweeted that he's interceptable. You saying Stafford does?
Well, he has to because his team stinks.
Well, what's wrong?
The fans of Detroit.
Yeah, but the Broncos fans.
Hey, you can't stand up for the Lions anymore, Clark.
Yeah.
I didn't stand up for Matthew Stafford. That might be his last time I ever watched.
We gotta go to an insider, a man who knows what he's talking about. He's disappeared off of my Twitter timeline though, so I'm thankful he's back on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the only and first employee of Yahoo Sports, Charles Robbins.
I'm like Kmart version of Adam Shepard.
Don't say that.
That's a good way to start it.
Chuck, you didn't deserve that. Okay, you didn't deserve that from you. Okay, that was a little ricochet shot for yourself. At least.
Look, how much of the Joel Osteen PPE money did the Pat McAfee show get? I'm waiting for you to pop in on that.
Yeah, so, hey, by the way, if we want to have a pretty serious conversation here, we can actually have this. Whenever this popped up, we did qualify for it, right?
Yeah.
And real conversations were had between myself and a kid who's been my best friend since kindergarten, who's our CFO Phil. And, Phil's job is to kind of do the other thing. And I said, we don't need it. We should not take it. We should, let other people have it. And also, I think if we take that, there's a chance that somebody else won't get. Literal conversation that I had with Phil, okay? I was on some vitamins, and we just moved on. We just moved on from it, act like it never happened, keep it moving, how you doing? And now it's coming out, every single company that took it, people are finding out about, companies didn't get it, and CFO Phil says, like, hey, listen, I don't know how your brain operates, but fucking good call on it. I feel like, because we didn't need it, it just feels like if you don't need it, you shouldn't take it. That's kind of the old school rule. But Joel Osteen, he's got a fucking stadium he's got to take care of, and to continue to build on, $4.4 million renovation, pretty good for a stadium, for Joel Osteen. He needed that. God bless you. God damn it.
Listen, Pat, you left enough money out there for Tom Brady, the TB12 loan.
Oh, yeah.
The TB12 guy.
And then you start going through all the companies that are coming out, and it's Lakers. I believe they took like 17. Yeah. It is wild. No, they give it back. Yeah. Good people there.
Yahoo.
Crazy man. Yahoo, as you do know, is the Walmart version of. Charles, where the hell have you been? I feel like you don't cover the NFL whenever the NFL is happening. What the hell is going on? Are you just hanging out?
I do. I'm just terrible at the Twitters. I get yelled at about this a lot, about not tweeting out my stuff enough.
Well, so what are we reporting on? What's the big news that we just talked about there? Drew Lock had the highest passer rating in Denver and of the NFL this past week. Who knows what's going to happen next year, though? Are they completely blowing that place up? Vic Fangio gone, Drew Lock gone, John Elway gone. Let's start there because that's where our conversation was, and then we'll move on from there.
I'd say that Vic is probably coaching for his job. There's a select few guys right now that I think are coaching for their jobs. I think Vic's one of them. I think Doug Peterson in Philadelphia is one of them. I think Jalen, what's going on with Jalen Hurts has helped Doug Peterson if he can continue that throughout the rest of the season. I think Matt Nagy in Chicago. But I think Locke is. The thing is about Locke, they're not going to be. I think their draft position is going to be high enough to get him play for, say, that second quarterback who comes off the board. So then I think if you're Denver, if Locke's not the guy, there are going to be Sam Darnold. I think here's the interesting about Darnold. I think in that draft, had Darnold gotten to them at 5, that was their guy. I think absolutely they take Sam Darnold there. Well, Sam Darnold's going to be a guy that you can probably get for a second, round pick right now. I think they would, the Jets would snap that up if they can get that. Probably a second, maybe another late pick. So Darnold's the guy who's going to be out there. I think if this continues with Hurts and Elway is maniacal, which he can be at times, Carson Wentz, depending on how they feel about his evaluation, they do have the cap space to acquire Carson Wentz. And basically the remaining 4 years of Wentz's deal, if a team were to acquire him, you're really going to pay him for 2021 and 2022. So it'd be sort of a 2-year tryout.
I like
there's
that.
There's going to be some guys built.
Let's say Carson Wentz to Denver. I like Carson Wentz to Denver because all anybody's saying is to Indy because God was with him and Frank Reich together in Philadelphia. That's what Moose said this weekend, that Carson was missing Frank Reich because of their shared love of the Lord, which, by the way, whatever ties you together and makes you play good is good. But maybe they'll find the Lord in Denver, too, or Pittsburgh or anywhere else. Thank God I don't want to pick up that contract in Indianapolis, but maybe Chris Ballard does. Who knows? He's smarter than I am. Let's talk about some other quarterbacks other than Carson Wentz, Drew Lock. Matt Ryan's owed like $100 million after this season, okay?
Yeah.
That's a massive contract. I assume, they're going to have a new head coach, new GM. Maybe Raheem gets the gig, who knows? But that's not something anybody's going to like. Are you hearing that anybody in the NFL is like, yeah, we'll take Matt Ryan and that $100 million? How are they going to get off of that? There's no way they can down the line.
I think the age is prohibitive, and the teams, the guys who I think would be really interested in him, just aren't in a position to get him. So I think if money wasn't a factor, would Kyle Shanahan be interested in that? Hell yeah. Kyle's definitely going to look every single year until he's certain he's got the right quarterback. He's going to look to see if he can upgrade. Jimmy G's not safe in San Francisco, but I think, look at Atlanta, it's going to be the new coach. Whoa, okay.
Jimmy G's not safe in San Fran?
No.
He's gone, huh?
I don't think he's gone, but I think that Kyle, the way Kyle approaches that quarterback position
mind of like if you can upgrade at the position and it doesn't kill you from a asset standpoint or salary cap standpoint or whatever, you always, unless you have
Was it the final?
top 2, 3, 4 quarterback in the league, you need to always be looking at if there's an opportunity to upgrade at the position, you do it. And part of that is Kyle keeping pressure on Jimmy. And this has been talked about, but like even after they acquired Jimmy, there were still people in the NFL close to Kyle who were like, I think if he could get Kirk Cousins right now, he likes Kirk more than he liked Jimmy.
Hey, Kyle Shanahan's a savage. Hey, listen, we can pay you $80 million, but don't get too fucking comfortable. We can get you out of here, no problem at all. That's wild, dude. What are some other big off-season moves you see happening? Because the salary cap's going down, right? No crowd. Some places, Cleveland had a lot more than most places. Buffalo's got absolutely zero people in the crowd, and whoever decided not to use the crowd noise on television cast, which was it was terrible to watch until the second half, and then they had bad time. But the salary cap is going down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be some big names cut, I believe. Is that a good guesstimation?
So the league is going to work really hard with the union to try and see if they can keep it flat this year. Now, the drawback was supposed to happen. I mean, there was sort of this agreement that there's likely going to be a salary cap drawback, but you have a number of owners who are sitting there looking at their salary cap situation saying, we'd rather not cut a bunch of guys to get us right. And they would like to be active in free agency because at this point, free agency is going to be pretty dead. You see teams that are accruing. Like, for example, Cleveland's a really good example. Cleveland has spent time sort of accruing money knowing that it's going to be really active in free agency. There's a handful of teams, the Patriots have been doing that. I think, Stephon Gilmore is the guy who probably is going to get cut loose. I think the Patriots are probably going to take that $70 million hit. He's a guy who will hit the open market. There's going to be obviously interest in him. There's going to be, Stafford's going to be a quarterback decision coming in. Matt Ryan, as we talked about, if they could move him, very prohibitive. But I think there's a decision there about the future of Matt Ryan. I think what's going to be interesting is you're going to see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with some of the coaching roles because there could be as many as like 8 or 9 jobs.
Yeah, that's a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
GM roles too, by the way. There's GM roles open. There's head coaching jobs. And I assumed that in 2020, because of how fucked everything was, it was going to be a free pass for everybody. But instead, I think a lot of organizations learned like who stinks and who doesn't because they're all kind of on the same playing field. Like, before we get to the head coach and GMs, can I revisit the salary cap staying flat? Because we all know that the NFL lawyers are going to out-lawyer the NFLPA lawyers. That's going to happen. So if it stays flat, that means they're robbing Peter to pay Paul at some point.
Yes.
How would that end up? Because the players will end up getting fucked by that somehow. If it's not this year, it'll be in the future. How's that end up happening?
That's exactly it. I mean, like you said, the money comes from somewhere. So obviously it would be taken from future years. So that the way that this is going to be structured, there is the ability to take some money out of some future years and move it up to try and soften the blow. Because I think, look, the problem is the union's sitting there and they're looking at the situation. They're going, look, we don't want a bunch of guys to get cut and then have sort of a dead fish free agency period. That doesn't really help anyone. You end up with a bunch of guys who are 1-year deals who would be signing long-term contracts, or you get teams that try to be creative with putting money later in deals. But if that money's not going to be guaranteed, all that does is expose players and put them into bad situations contractually. So this is that rare instance where coming into this year, both the union and NFL knew they were both screwed. Like, no matter what, everybody was going to take a bite out of the shit sandwich. And so they're sitting there.
It's like the Hartman Institute of Technology, dude. Everybody's getting it. But this is going to end up being bad for the players. It's going to end up being bad. Somehow, some way, the NFL is going to, not granted, bad for the players. Guys are still going to get money, but there will be something that will come out in the agreement between the NFLPA and the NFL about keeping the salary cap flat, about how 15 years from now, the owners somehow concocted a way to cut the salary cap. There will be something that will happen. There's always something in those.
So here's the really interesting thing that's going on right now. Not a lot of people are really talking about this.
Because you won't tweet. Because you won't fucking tweet,
right? I did write a story about this. I think it's actually up today.
Where?
It's on Kmart.com.
Oh, no! Stop being so hard on yourself, Carl. Yahoo's been around a long time. It's a staple of this fucking internet that we have here.
I've learned to be self-deprecating in my role, okay? That's the best way to go. Right?
Yeah, but you wrote about it today at Yahoo. We'll read about it. What is nobody talking about?
Okay, so when Roger Goodell sends out this memo in October and it tells teams stop screwing around, pay attention, follow the COVID protocols, or we're gonna you're gonna forfeit games, we're gonna strip draft picks. Here's all the stuff we're gonna do to you. At that point, it's like, wow, he pulled the bazooka out pretty early in terms of like telling teams we're gonna hammer the hell out of you. And I think now we're starting to see why, and it's because the Ravens showed us. The Ravens had a prime 6 spot. The Ravens and Steelers had prime 6 spot on Thanksgiving, right? Huge money advertising for NBC. Fantastic. Everybody's geared up. They sold all this advertising, made a ton of money. All of a sudden, that gets to a Wednesday in like the middle of the day, the most ridiculous time slot ever. So what ended up happening was NBC, when that slot got moved, the viewership dropped 50% from what NBC's Thanksgiving Day slot was the previous year. Well, the problem with that is all the advertising is sitting here going, we paid all this money for this Thanksgiving slot, and now the game is on a Wednesday afternoon. We got completely screwed here. And so NBC essentially had to have a form of give back, where there were certain people that advertised during that game on Wednesday and paid for their advertising slot. And now you have networks that are sitting there saying, hey, the fluctuation in ratings has caused us to be in a situation we may have to discount some of our advertising or give away some of our advertising as givebacks for NFL games. That's never happened before. That never happens. The NFL's like bulletproof, and all these advertisers were waiting for the NFL season to start because they said, look, we got killed on that NBA, we got killed on that NHL, but the NFL's ratings are both. Well, it's fluctuated so much during COVID and the election season that it's wreaked some havoc on some of these networks with their advertising. Well, guess what? The new TV deals aren't done yet. They're not done yet. And you'd be crazy to think that these networks aren't going to remember, particularly when there's a 7% drop in viewership rating this year across the board in terms of the cable providers and the digital providers for the NFL. The TV networks are going to remember this. And so that's going to bear out, I think, in the television contract negotiations, which screws the players in the long term.
Well,
that's where all the money.
Chuck, let me tell you about something here, though. Anybody ever call you Chuck?
Yes.
Big Chuck.
Not in a while, but you're good.
Chuck's a good name. I'm pretty pumped up about Chuck. Charles also incredibly sophisticated. Seriously, if I was a writer at one of the oldest institutions on the internet, I would also like Charles. We just pulled up your article, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. They said NBC could not put that game on at night because they had to recycle a previous year's tree celebration that they said would get like 20-some million. I forget what it was. I forget the number they said. But didn't the Wednesday afternoon football, the WAF, did it not get 14.9 million or something like that, or 15 million?
It did a big number for the slot, and now there was a method to that for NBC because they said, look, we're kind of getting both. We're getting an awesome. This tree lighting ceremony is going to get a great number, and now we kind of have this middle of the day where we get a pretty big number too. So that's really part of why they did it. But still, the advertisers were pissed. They're like, look, we expected this massive 30 million, viewership audience that had happened in the previous year for you on your Thanksgiving Day game, and so that's what we paid for. So they wanted some money back. They wanted something in response to that. So it's.
A lot of people
running COVID's freaking out.
A lot of people running this advertising slots are a bunch of fucking idiots. Always looking for free reads. What do you got, Connor?
Yeah, Charles, why is Jim Harbaugh the next head coach of the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, why is he even in the NFL conversation?
Woody Johnson, the Jets, Woody Johnson had such an infatuation with him prior to him going to Michigan. And while he was at Michigan in the early years, that Joe Douglas having worked with John Harbaugh in Baltimore, Woody coming back into the fold from his ambassadorship, obviously the political change, and so the idea is, Woody's factoring in here, but there are people in Michigan that are really driving this, to be honest. The people in Michigan are like, the Jets are going to come get Jim. Like, they really, people in Michigan, don't kid yourself, really want someone to come get Jim and take them off their hands. And want so a lot of this is driven. That's why I always laugh when I see all the headlines about Jim, because a lot of it's being driven inside of Michigan, not from the NFL level. And by the way, about Jim, I will say this. Everyone says, well, the things he was doing with Colin Kaepernick, Belichick at the time. Greg Roman was his OC. A lot of that plays into how the NFL looks now. Yeah, it does, but, look at what has happened with Greg Roman in Baltimore. You lose Ronnie Stanley, you lose Marshall Yanda. That offense has run into a little bit of a wall here. And by the way, go back and look at Jim Harbaugh's defenses in San Francisco, and then also tell me what quarterback he's developed at Michigan. Donovan Peoples-Jones came out of Michigan, and he's doing more stuff for Cleveland than I ever saw him do.
Big catch last night. Huge. Awesome catch last night. All right, Chuck. Any news going to break in the next hour or so, you think? Do you want to break right here, baby?
No, there's nothing going on. I'm glad it's an Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, though, because I can tell you this. I have an MVP vote, and I thought for sure, up until about 2 weeks ago, I was like, Mahomes is just going to run away with this. This is going to be pretty easy. I'm not going to have to call teams and start asking them to compare players or whatever. Rodgers is a race now. Like, it is absolutely a two-man race right now. I talked to someone in Green Bay last week.
He's about to go. Get on the right side. Hey, Chuck, do not fuck this up. Do not do it, Chuck.
Can't throw 3 interceptions and win MVP, Chuck. We all know that.
Aaron can do that.
Yeah, just fine. Just fine.
Everybody's going to have a bad game every once in a while. Yeah. But, Aaron, so how'd you get this MVP vote? How long has it been? How long have you had the MVP vote?
Couple years.
You got to write it in and mail it in? Is it an email? What is it?
No, it's email. It's so it's like 50 members. So it's like some former players like Aikman, Lofton. So there's a number of like former players and then certain media members who have covered the league for a long time. Have been asked to bring it. I got brought into the fold a couple of years ago. So
how have you guys never gave a vote to Russell Wilson?
Oh God, I'm so glad you brought this up.
Okay, Chuck, because you were getting brought up in the opening 4 or 5 weeks. It was like, this guy, here's a guy that never got an MVP vote. It was like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that all 50 of you guys hated Russell Wilson. That's crazy.
Okay, that is not now. This is the problem with context. Okay, I hear people saying this, and I'm like, these are people who never voted. These are people who never.
We all registered to vote, okay? Because Doc Hodges told us to do so in his social media video. But what is the context of that? How does that work?
You guys are all heroes. I got your medals in there. Okay, so Russell Wilson, his 3 years that were his best shots at winning MVP. Cam Newton won. One of the greatest quarterback seasons in the history of the NFL, 2015, right? Pat Mahomes was the next season where Russell really had a shot to win it. Pat Mahomes threw 50 touchdown passes, one of the greatest quarterback seasons in the history of the NFL, and Lamar Jackson last year. So literally, Russell's 3 best years in terms of his candidacy ran into Cam Newton, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson putting up 3 of the greatest quarterback seasons the NFL's ever seen in history. That's why Russell Wilson, he was a strong number 2 candidate last year.
Hey, you're not wrong, number 2. You're wrong, number 2. People drink Powerade still. Yeah. Hey, people go to Kmart. So, is that at the end of the season? Is there a certain window you're allowed to put the vote in?
Yeah, so you're not allowed to cast your vote before the season officially ends. And then once the season officially ends, there's a window of time. And I think it's like 3 days or 5 days where you have to come up with your ballot at that point. So a lot of us, so I'll give you an example of what I had to do last year. I had some difficulty parsing out Josh Jacobs versus Kyler Murray for offensive rookie of the year last year. So what I did was I called common opponents. So I talked to Atlanta Falcons. I said, you prepare for both of these guys. They're really close to my ballot. Lay it out for me. Which guy's better? Give me your best pitch here. Who's harder to prepare for defensively? Who impacted the game? Went through that. I think the Jets were another team I called because they were a common close too. You end up doing that to some of these guys when they're that close. And I really honestly believe Mahomes and Rodgers are going to be so close. You're going to have to reach out to a number of people across the league and just ask them, explain to me why this guy deserves the nod.
These people care enough to tell you?
Yes. Yeah, they really do. They do. They care. They
None of my friends that are in coaching, if you called them and you said, hey, lay out why this guy's been, I don't fuck, that's your job. That's not my job.
No. I mean, it depends. There are some people who don't care. Some people are in the thick of their season, don't want to talk about it. But a lot of people will take the time to parse out candidates for you. And interestingly enough, I'll give you a guy who really does care, although he's not on my list, but I know other people lean on him for Hall of Fame, and then also some of the other things that they vote for. Bill Belichick's a guy who really
cares,
wants people to get it right.
Yeah.
He wants people to use information and not just pull it out of their ass. And so there are guys, Jerry Jones is another guy, any Hall of Fame consideration. Jerry Jones will spend a lot of time, particularly with someone in an era that he was really close to. He'll spend time talking to you and explaining why a guy deserves it.
Well, good luck with your vote. We're pulling for you. We're happy you registered to vote, like Ahmad just said. And you need to tweet more because your brain's a good one. We need to see your or we just need to make Yahoo.com the sports section our go-to spot every single morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Rock.
Take care.
Thank you, Joe. Man, so he is still doing something. Man, I'll tell you what. For me, if somebody's talking about Twitter and on Twitter, they might as well money. I thought Charles retired. Whenever I heard his kids, I thought he retired. When I heard he was coming on the show, I'm like, Charles Robinson, he's still doing things on Twitter. Yeah. That's a pretty shallow life I live. I would have been a Roger, I didn't want to talk to him ever again. You better fucking get it right. If that says 50 to 0, then we know, like he has no escape. You know what I mean? If this thing's a little bit split, then we can ask, maybe he's a swing vote like Kevin Costner in that goddamn trailer.
That's probably why Bill did the NFL Top 100, because he respects, he's like, hey, this has been great.
He loves the game. Yeah. Like he is, I think, out of all the things you can say about Bill Belichick, I do believe he's addicted to football.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that's one of those things. There's football guys who are like that, you know what I mean?
He probably loves Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah. Is he gonna put his head in the dirt? Let's go to J-Don. J-Don in Colorado?
Hey, what's up, boys? It's J.Y.
Jason. Got it.
Yeah.
J-A-Y-D-O.
Happy Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, boys. And I just want to tell Gumpy I'm right there with you on Longwood. Getting 5 points against Radford. We're taking that all the way, baby.
Ride the Lancers, baby. Let's go.
What language are you guys speaking right now? What is this fucking... What is this?
Oh, it's basketball, baby.
Oh, they
Big
stink.
South.
I mean, I'm happy that they're playing the basketball game because Coach K doesn't want to because his team stinks or whatever.
Yep.
But boy, you know what? Actually, I watched IU the other night and Northwestern Pitt the other night, and they were both pretty electrifying finishes. I was actually pretty invested. So maybe I should get off of my stance that college basketball fun. It has been my stance for a long time because I went to a college basketball game and I saw a kid miss more shots than I seen down at the LA Fitness. And I'm like, listen, if I wanted to watch pickup basketball, I'd just go to fucking LA Fitness. I don't need to watch these kids. But watching that Northwestern Pitt game, and IU's got this dude underneath, light-skinned dude. He's like 20, I think he's number 23 maybe.
27.
His face never changes. He's got like the Kyler Murray. He's a ball. So there has been some teams this year that have captivated me a little bit. When Zion was playing for a team that couldn't win the national championship somehow with 5 of the top 5 people in all college basketball, watching him do highlights was awesome. But you're right. This year's the year I'm going to get into college basketball. What's that soccer team name that we need to bet on? The Longwood Racers?
Longwood Lancers, college basketball.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a soccer name. But we will play.
We want soccer. Pulisic is back in the starting.
All right, Jason. Sorry about that. We kind of hijacked your soccer segment there. What do you want to talk about, dude?
So with this weekend, we had so many kickers struggle. How thankful do you think some of these teams are to have great kickers like Justin Tucker last night draining that 55-yarder game?
Isn't it interesting? Great question, Jason. And good luck to your long answers. What country are they from?
That's the Big South. Back to back, they covered 5 against Radford last night. Play them again tonight. Get 5 again tonight.
Against who?
Radford.
Oh, I thought you said last night they covered against Radford.
Yeah, they play him again. They're getting points
College
again.
basketball stinks. What's that?
I mean, you had a fucking Mickey Mouse Big South.
Hey, whoa,
Orders were taken.
Hey, you're right. If we got winners, pal. Just because they're not all Iowa with that kid, the Instagram model. Luka Garza, the Instagram model. He's a stud. He's going to make so much money in the NBA.
I hope so.
He's going to get the bottle shit that, like the shoe deals.
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh, he's not going to make the NBA?
Well, he could.
Oh, so I think that's enough sprinkles.
Tell me what to do, okay?
Alright, this must be some foolishness if y'all want me to watch this. Let me show you what I learned in nutrition a couple years ago. Okay, ground beef. I see you put the damn seasoning in there. Okay, draining the grease off. Keep your little bit of that grease in there. Don't drain it all, it's gonna be dry. Now I know goddamn well you lying. Who the hell rinses all brown meat? I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. Look at the difference. That shit dry, that's the difference.
And I can't take it back, so in the past is
Getting ready and putting a bra on today is the last thing I want to do. But my son starts basketball practice today, and I cannot get judged for looking homeless because I'm already going to be the youngest mom there. So I'm going to whip out the Louis Vuitton makeup case and do my face. Are you feeling sick to fucking off? No, I'm not. Here, one more time. So I did my makeup. I was sweating. No, yeah. I know, not very impressive. And my daughter's crying. I'm gonna get into hockey. Don't worry, I'm finishing it off. Only nasty people put their mouths on it when they're not finishing it off. I'm chilling. What about you?
I mean, I'm alright. I had to.
Hey, this is for my Saskatoon TikTokers, so if you're not from Saskatoon. Yeah.
Call an ambulance. But not for me.
No, they're cheating. Nope. Cheater! Wait. Yeah, he did. Oh, dude.
I got his name.
He's in the tower, fool.
Baby, I'm back.
What the fuck?
That dick better be up.
Fuck! Hi. Hey.
Council for being on virtually. With that, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and you have the agenda before you. Any additions or changes? Seeing none, can I get someone to move the agenda? Thanks very much. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much. You have the minutes of the regular council meeting of December the 1st before you. Any errors or omissions? With that, I'll ask you to move. Thanks very much. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. No public in our chambers this evening, and I did not receive any commentary that we had received prior to having a potential meeting that we might have had. I don't receive anything from different items to that. If you would like to have an item addressed, I would have you send an email to applicant or mayor at with that, I will close the public session and move to 5.2 monitor
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is an annual occurrence, just the appointment of our auditors for the fiscal year. So it's the same auditors we had last year. Donna Leisman, Professional Corporation. They've got a new crew, some new staff, new faces, but Donna Leisman, of course, is still there. And we just need council to pass the recommendation.
All right, thank you. Councilor McCullough.
I move that the council of the town of Virginia appoint Donna Leisman, Professional Corporation, as the external financial auditors for the 2020 fiscal year.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Seeing none, I want to thank them for putting their name forward. Verizon has done a great job over the past, I think we've had now 3 years, I want to say, 4 years, I would even say, yeah. So thank you very much to the corporation for supporting our organization. So with that, I will call the vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. We have no emergent items, and we have before you the CAO report. Any comments or questions for the managers? I want to thank the admin team here for the support around the ILC work, and certainly the changes in COVID that we continue to experience. So being nimble, and also the disaster plan. I look forward to that tabletop exercise. And I did receive a comment from, I was just having with the mayor of St. Paul, that perhaps we should refer to a tabletop. Is that something that you would recommend?
Sure. Madam Mayor, actually, we did have the elected officials right after this council was elected. If we had it, we had to miss one individual, we might have to get money. And that was part of this box, our field office. So we also did certainly get an introduction to this area right at the beginning of the year. Kind of been a while. It's been a lot more things since then. But yeah, we did have that right at the beginning.
Thank you. I know for sure. I think Councilor Thompson and Councilor Barr can. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great. Well, seeing no other questions. Great. We will be
forgot to ask this dude last night. I was wondering if we're going to do for playground inspections for 20. Obviously, I don't think we did any for 2020, so I'm wondering if we're doing any for 2021.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, through to Councilor McCullough. Yes, we will be doing the playground inspections. However, we have to get at least one staff member certified. When we attempted to get the certification during 2020, all the courses have been canceled due to COVID. They're close, but we can look for 2021 to get these courses done. Hopefully we can get them in the winter so we can have the playground certification satisfied in the first quarter of the year.
Kevin, is there legislation around this that we have to do it, or is it just something that we choose to do to keep the public safe?
It's in the interest of public safety. So I know there's a lot of playgrounds that don't get the same care and attention the municipal playgrounds do, but because they are a municipal playground, we rise to a higher level of standard, and we want to maintain our playground equipment to a certified standard. It also affects our insurance, so we want to be able to make sure with our insurance company that we are certified playgrounds, keeping our rates, if you call reasonable, what they are.
So if we can't get somebody certified, will we hire somebody to do it next year then?
Potentially, but I'm confident we'll have staff members certified.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I did have a question with regards to cemetery. So I noticed that there was no budgeted amount. How are we running with the cemetery program? Are we pretty close to budget?
Sorry, Madam Mayor. There was no expenditures in the last quarter. I don't have the budgeted amount for cemeteries in front of me, but and we didn't have any capital contributions there this year. We did do some work in partnership with the group that was exploring to expand the veterans area. There has been some work done. I'm confident that they got as far as they wanted to, but we'll still work with them.
And then I think I have reached out by the group that must be and then they will Anything else? Alright, tonight, the Director of Infrastructure and Planning Services report is before you. Any comments or questions? Thank you, Mr. Lucas. Any comments? Yes, Councilor Pruitt.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question in regard to the garbage program. We were hoping to, looks like, continue collecting blue bag recycling through the remainder of 2020. I wondered if Derek can comment on why at the last minute the contractor chose not to pick up the blue bags that everybody had out.
Hello, there's a question for you. You hear it or not? You need it again.
No, I did. I was disconnected. Just as Councillor Pelic was asking the question, I apologize.
Okay, not a problem. So the question is, we're hoping to get the recycling bags picked up through 2020, to the end of 2020, and I believe it was the day that we had the Blue Bag program in the west side of town. The contractor chose not to pick it up. Is there any particular reason why that happened?
So the rationale that the contractor used was the increased COVID cases in Alberta and the changes that the provincial government put forth. And so they sent an email that morning canceling the election for that day. So it was a scramble to get message out to the public. But, so we are still working on trying to get election for 2020. It looks like it'll be after Christmas in order to kind of include the materials that kind of accumulate through the Christmas season. So that's looking positive, but we're still working on that as a lead-in, I guess, to the agenda here later.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think my comment would be kind of surprising to me that the organization wasn't prepared for that, because it certainly wasn't and I think when I look at the bottle depots, and the bottle depots are still open, and I would suggest they probably have the same level of COVID risk as recyclables do otherwise. So it would be an interesting conversation to the organization to say, understanding how they mitigate the risk of that rather than being caught off guard. I do have a question around the bulletin that was put under planning and development. What kind of work is happening?
So because the well is its own municipal reserve that has a connection to the school districts, there's been some issues with the administrative process to get those that utility right-of-way registered. And it's gone back and forth between ourselves and the school, and it's more of a purely administrative issue where it's not signed in the proper way, and so it gets rejected with land titles and has to come back. And so it's happened on a couple of occasions. So Mr. Wilson's been working with the school division to make sure that gets corrected and sent in correctly.
Thank you for that, because I was wondering what the rate of ROW was like. Because I was like, what is happening there? So thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Director of Finance is here. I did have a question around information technology. Is there an opportunity for grant funding for that?
We're definitely pursuing grant funding on that. We've got a number of different items that we're pursuing the most grant funding for, or the Safe Restart program. The file system, cloud-based systems, as well as a number of the different softwares we use and other hardware that we use, including the conferencing equipment that we have to get back from the government, because it is 100% grant funding, so that would be beneficial.
Awesome, that would be awesome, and I do see our MLA is on the line, so we'll be able to support some of that going forward. So thank you, and also I just wanted to congratulate you on light collection. Was on 6% over 90 days, so it looks like you're on track around collecting for taxation. So thank you to your team for all the work that they do in ensuring that happens. And I know that we offered the opportunity for residents property owners to defer their taxes, so that it's good to see that they're it's great that people honor taxation. Dr. Keelan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Brian, December is the month for pet owners to renew the licenses for their pets. And understanding with the COVID situation and what's happening with the town office, could you comment for the public as what's
best process to go ahead with making payment and obtaining license tags for their events? Certainly, yes. We are taking payment through the drop box in the door and are willing to mail out animal licenses to anyone who requests it. We would ask that they call in or send the payment electronically. We do have e-transfer options as well. Certainly reach out to our staff, call our general line, and we can work with a number of different options. We are open by appointment only. We're encouraging items like the drop box or e-transfers, but we are open by appointment, so if they did want to have the need to come down and do it in person, we can certainly assist with the licenses in person as well.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Lytle? Thank you very much for that. And Mr. Garth Oswald is on Zoom with us. Welcome to our council meeting. Thank you very much for taking the time from your schedule to come. And I've asked him if he would just provide a little update around what's happening in government that's relative to our community and some of the work that he's doing, and then allow council to ask the questions. So with that, I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay, well, some of the bills, like most recently, not really in specific, but impacts. Bill 46 was passed, which was within it had the net care being available to White from the Saskatchewan side. And it was one of the more controversial parts of the bill that were passed, and it was revolved around privacy concerns. So when this gets implemented from the Alberta to the Saskatchewan side, people will be able to have information available at the hospital and work on the Saskatchewan side. So that was good. For a long time, so the minister was able to get that done. So that was good. Like something more specific to our area. The other thing that might be of interest is what things I'm going to be exposed to in my town is I've been appointed to the Prairie Northwest Economic Region, and that's kind of northwestern states and western Canadian provinces get together and look, try to find ways that we can economically support each other. So and I'm going to get a briefing on exactly what my role is going to be within that on Thursday. So it looked like it just happened. So what I thought would be interesting there would be, I'm probably going to get exposed to a lot of neat ideas and things, economic development type things. So from how you guys can help me out is if there's specific areas that you're looking to keep an eye on for opportunities. If it's just everything, then I can kind of keep you posted as I learn stuff. But do you have specific areas that you're thinking about from an economic development, like off the wall kind of stuff, that maybe stuff that isn't here right now, that might be available? Then the more of that I know, the more effective I can be in trying to bring economic development somehow from that. I'm kind of vague on it because I'm just getting my update or I'm reviewing it on Thursday morning. So that's kind of I think that one was open to answer questions. But I started with Bill 46.
Just a couple things, yeah. I think that care venture is worthwhile because I know we sit on the health committee for our client, and part of collecting stats has always been an issue with collecting information from the hospital in Lloydminster because it's a catchment, so we're unable to get any stats from comparison to know what's going on in their area in relation to people going there as well as ambulance service. So
that the chief of staff in the health ministry was the chief of staff in the health ministry in Saskatchewan, so he knows all the different people, and I know they've talked, so hopefully we can get this thing so it's going both ways.
And I was going to go further on the economic development side. Encouraging to work with the RETA, the Hub region. That group involves numerous communities in this area, and part of there's extensive information there, but really it's all about the value chain and how we can all work together on the East Side corridor, going all the way down to the States to support things like the high-tech industry. There's the latest drone industry and what supports we can do for things like the Air Force Base in Cold Lake. And as well, and you've heard this many, many times from myself and a few others, but economic development is so hinged on broadband and internet capacity that that's becoming the need to enhance economic viability for all of Alberta and all of Canada. So I think if you can get that on the table and put some information forward, that would be very helpful. One question for you, the community forward lodge expression of interest for the senior level 4 care. Everyone can say this announcement will be coming forward in March, but I'd like to know kind of has anything transpired since that expression of interest has been sent? Have you heard anything as to whether, how's that progressing for our community?
I checked into it like late last week, I got hold of them, and I'm just trying to, I wish they could produce a list and say you're number 5 on this list, and we should have it done by this date, and I just don't seem to be able to access that, or even if there is a list. But every time I ask, they say, look, it's a priority place. Vermilion is a priority place to get that thing done. And Caroline and I have talked about this a number of times, where it's such a small thing in the big picture, and you think they'd announce that just to be like a flea on an elephant's back, just to get it done with and get it out there. So it's that, the assurance that I've got so far is, between now and the end of March, the announcement should come to us. I check in there pretty regularly, and I'm not sure it's the ministry's decision, whether it's the AHS or whatever it is. I check in there he did say the last time I talked to him, there should be some more announcements in January.
I know the Lodge in Spain has done a lot of work to make this more than shovel ready. It's turnkey operation ready to start tomorrow. So the amount of money required to get this thing going is pretty small. Thanks for your time.
I think too, another encouraging thing is that we continue to advocate even at the national level. So we've got a conversation with the we've done this week and just in terms of advocating national government as well as the province, just in terms of how can we move broadband continues to advocate for that.
One concern I got is it sounds like the private companies are doing work in both Lloydminster and Wainwright, and it just isn't there for whatever reason. And we've been trying to lobby at that level as well, and find a way to, it put you guys, it puts Vermilion at a competitive disadvantage if Wainwright and Lloydminster get ahead of it that much, right?
Yeah, in terms of when we had discussions with TELUS at one point, they actually acknowledged that the difference between a community that has internet and a community that doesn't have internet just on the sale of a home in $50,000. So that's big.
Have you got any more updates on when was the last time you talked to
we had a great conversation with them we actually were there for the I think the telecoms right now, they either have too much on their plate or just not on the radar, so we just I don't know.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. As far as telecoms go, we've had no conversations whatsoever. We're continuing to pursue VNet through our ISP, so we're venturing in on that. We had, like the Mayor was saying, an excellent conversation with the Executive Director for Telecommunications with Service Alberta. In fact, that individual was involved with the original development of the SuperNet, so she's very well educated in that area and extended some, advice to us in regards to the Universal Broadband Fund. So we will be, we've advised our administration in regards to that and our consultant to touch bases with Service Alberta, and they can walk us through the Universal Broadband Fund and see whether or not, we can at least get some funding for what we're doing as a community. But anyway, we're, as a council, we're pushing ahead for our community to have our own network in place. And it'll be an open access network, so if the telecoms or anyone else, other ISPs want to join our network and provide us with specialized service, we're open to that. So it's not going to be a closed shop. We're going to be open for that, but we are diverting some of our capital and operational dollars towards this. So, the Executive Director from Service Alberta got that message, and we're hoping that the province will come up with a provincial broadband strategy in 2021, and that would sort of set some assistance for municipalities that really do want to get into this.
I know that minister, he hasn't made any apparent headway in broadband, but then like all the ministers that brought stuff forward. I'll honestly say he's just sort of he consults widely and comes in very organized with Bill. You can tell there's been a lot of thought and organization put into it, and he actually gets high-end composition back. So I think he keeps them further more. So that's kind of
No.
Which is great news, which is great news. I'm super excited because, yeah, they're pretty much. Thank you, Councillor Barr.
Is that a two-part vaccination?
Two parts.
I heard today there's one.
We've certainly been challenged as well. I'm wondering if you can help us understand what, I guess, what champions is happening around the MSI. And certainly if that's diminished, it will have huge impacts.
The MSI is, what's the best way to put it? Like, I don't want to say it's going to get cut to nothing, but it's being looked at fairly seriously, and I don't know if it were to get cut, what would be like, what would happen otherwise. So I just haven't, like, there's been nothing come out that's that I'm aware of that I can pass on to you as far as giving you some indication. Because you're into, like, you established your budget for next year already, right?
Yeah, so it's pretty, at this point, it would be pretty detrimental in March. We've already passed this competitive. I think the other thing, too, is just looking at education path with the assessment going down, just possible implication of education path. Often get to their residents get confused and collecting all that tax. We tend to bear the brunt of this. So I guess that's, in order to step that might.
Well, the funding stays the same, like, because you guys collected and passed it on to the government, to the provincial government.
Since I've been on council, we've had 3.5%.
Yeah.
Right? When we're trying to build the lines quickly. I guess the one other thing with the SPSF, I've heard rumors on thinking that might be impacted. Have you heard anything about SPSF?
What's that again?
SPSF.
Well, nothing specific on that either. Like, I've, those ministries are one of the few ministries that actually have gotten more money, like in the budgets that have come through since. So, like, I don't, like, we've got no indication from them, like, pre-budget, what the plan is. All we get is, like, the finance ministry is in, like, they're negotiating with various unions right now, and that's mostly what we're getting some updates on, and just trying to get a handle on our fiscal position. So we've got no indication from anybody, any ideas to any changes that might be coming in, but I'm sure that's, like, the budget will come in from those as we learn those things.
Any comments on the index conversation that just came up? Any comments on that?
Yeah, they're going to be releasing data. People are going to be measuring revenues, like 13 different. Okay, I'll check into that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from other councillors? Yeah, Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the elephant in the room with the restrictions and stuff that we are all under. Yeah, we got a very serious health crisis obviously going on, and we talked a bit about the vaccine starting to roll out, which will definitely take some of the pressure off of us all here. But what I liked was how in this stage, the retail stores are still able to open just with reduced capacity, which different than the approach that we went through in the spring, which seems in line with rural Alberta and our overall working spirit type of thing. But I have concerns about how these restrictions seem to somewhat disproportionately difficulty here. Like a good example would be like the hairdressers or the personal trainers and things like that. Some of these other self-employed type folks. I'm just wondering if there's much thought put into the way that these places or these people continue to operate just through further increased practices and restrictions, just to help people be able to try and earn a living here. And kind of related, but also kind of a side point is, I just wonder why the provincial government sees like gyms as recreation facilities instead of more along the lines of fitness, like health and wellness is something that this government has said is important to them, and we can see the difference that being fit and healthy overall makes towards how people are able to combat this virus if they happen to come down with it. So yeah, I just wonder if maybe that should be a consideration as well, a way that they could operate just with further reduced capacity so that people could keep their health up during these trying times.
Yeah, I think that point of view was well represented in our caucus meeting yesterday, with regards to massage people like we've had in lots of constituency office relative to massage therapists and how medically They are relative to even, say, physiotherapists, right? Because that's all part of that. So that view is there, but the cabinet committee as well. So, regardless of where I think it is, those views are expressed within caucus, and the big committee makes their decision, and they go from there. So it's going to be where I would say it's at now. The way it is today is the way it's going to be until the end of this 4-week time frame. And yeah, I'm happy that we didn't shut down retail. And I think that was I think the Premier did probably admit that spring was a mistake. The big box stores and shut down the retail stores that were big box stores, and so the chances of that happening again is, I would say, next month. Just won't happen because we're going to have to try to help them people in some way because they have to make a living, right? There has been some more money come out, but it's there's a grant they can apply for if the businesses drop 30%. It's been bounced up between last spring and this fall. It's there's 20 grand for a person there, and that's the word we had as a grant. So that people can apply for that. And the business has to drop by 30%. So if you're a restaurant, you can only put 15% of your capacity. I can't see where that would be the case. So that's kind of how that works. So the ones that you've identified have been well identified within caucus and have been given consideration by the big committee, and they've made the decision at this point. So I think it's where it is today is where it's probably going to be for the next to the end of this restriction period until we can take it off.
Yeah, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. I really appreciate your answer there. Can you just speak a little more to the second point regarding the gyms being seen as recreation? Is there much sentiment in caucus regarding that kind of thing potentially being classified as essential?
I would say the same answer for that one. It's not, again, that's what people felt. Why can't a gym be open, right? And so we bring up those concerns, and we go with, I hate saying it, but I don't have all the information that they're using to make these decisions. So we expressed our concerns, and it was fairly aggressive. So I don't have a good answer to your question relative to the gyms, other than you've got a company in caucus that agree with you.
Much appreciated, sir.
Thank you. Councilor Bueller.
Yeah, I'll just like to follow through with Councilor Thompson's discussion about this. I have to say, though, it is a little bit disappointing with the impact to the hair dressers, massage therapists, and the gym facilities. During this whole period, I would say that our those services I mentioned in our community have gone overboard with controlling COVID in their operations, and to have, knowing that they've done this, went overboard, masks and sanitation and all that stuff, and the province turned around and basically shut them down, really is unfortunate. I would encourage you to, encourage the Premier Premier and Alberta Health Services to reconsider that decision when they make the next go around after this 4-week stage. I think these people really did a good job, and now they're basically shut down and not generating any revenue because of this last decision.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even the restaurants were, like the data that I've seen is that not much of the transmission of the COVID was at restaurants. It was mostly at homes, right? So, I wish I had an answer for you, but we'll list them or that way or continue to lobby. We have a caucus meeting every week, so we bring it up all the time.
Yeah. And I guess with that too, I really want to thank the government for bringing this bypass bylaw. I think it certainly supports Albertans to understand in the community what's expected. It makes it really difficult that it wasn't consistent across the province. My personal thought is we probably will be masking for a while. It's probably not going to go away right away. And if that helps us allow businesses to be open and trust around safety, then it's a small increase to that. But I do want to acknowledge that, having that consistency and help. It's not helpful for businesses to try to increase their
We got lobbied quite a bit from the different communities, and so there we are. We're definitely
Councillor Thompson, you have a question?
Yeah, I guess for the statement, I was just going to say that another thing that I appreciate the most recent round of tactics over the last couple months was been the regional approach instead of the province-wide approach in terms of how they were trying to handle things. Obviously, the needs of people in rural Alberta and the situation that we're experiencing regarding COVID is obviously quite different than those living in downtown Calgary and things like that. So I'd like to see that, as we go forward and are trying to best mitigate our risk of this pandemic here, that the government does try and take a more surgical approach instead of the shotgun approach, and look at the needs of the communities in the areas as opposed to trying to average out risk mitigation across the province as a whole.
Yeah, the standard that's being used is 50 people per 100,000 population, but in the county of Vermilion, we're about 12,000 people, right? Like, our number right now is like 400 and some per 100,000. And so, like, in some cases, you might hit that 50 person number, that 50 rate, if a couple of families have an event, and it makes you go to the enhanced level, which punishes everyone, and it's really in actual fact not that many people, but it's that magic number. Yeah, we are on the regional side of it as well. Like that's, and we held on to that for as long as we could, other than say the mask side of it. But as far as trying to keep people open and keep them operating, the government did. I'll give them credit for that. They pushed back, and the thing that they're looking at is the number of people in ICUs and the number of people in hospitals. It's not total cases. Our desire isn't to have zero cases, have a plan that rotates around zero cases. But in the last 5 weeks, we've had a 600% increase in people in ICUs and people in hospitals, and surgeries and stuff like that were starting to get canceled. So we held off as long as we could, and just felt we had to make a move in the end. And then, like Vermilion was not long ago. Vermilion County and the area was at zero. We had people complaining to us that when we said 7 to grade 7 to 12 couldn't go to school, they said, well, it's got to be at zero in Vermilion County. So we just checked it today, and we're at 58 today. So, we get both sides of the story. People push pretty hard, even now.
questions, I want to thank you, Emily Roosevelt, for coming to our council meeting virtually. I invite you to stay. More than happy to, if you want to kind of see some of the work that's going on in our community, you're free to stay. But I wanted to thank you. Certainly wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming to our council meeting.
Well, I can get there if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Thank you very much. All right, with that, we will move to economic development December 10th. Are there for council? Any comments or questions for the councillors Barr and Kulik on that committee? It's exciting to see we still have some incentive money that we're giving out to businesses and encouraging them to grow their business. We have the Power Hour webinar series. Councillor Kulik.
Okay, thanks, Madam Mayor. So Lakeland College has approached economic development to see if we would be willing to support this Power Hour. It's a virtual learning. It provides some up-to-date information for individuals that are interested. I think we've got a list of the items that are within that Power Hour series. So they've approached us and we've reviewed the funds that we have. We do have some funds left over from, I don't know if you remember the Earn Breakfast, which was involved with the Rotary Club. There's some funds left out of that would fit well with this Power Hour initiative for Lakeland College. The benefit there is that we would get advertisement from the town of Vermilion. Lakeland College would promote some of the initiatives that are going on in our community, such as VNet, trying to get some more exposure to people wanting to subscribe to that, or any other event that we've got ongoing with economic development. So, as a group, we felt that it was a worthwhile project, get our exposure, and also assist Lakeland College with this event. So, with that, I'd like to move that Council for the Town of Vermilion approve economic development partners with and sponsors Lakeland College on the upcoming speaker series called Power Hour. And the funds will be used from the Economic Development Reserve.
Any comments or questions for Council Kulik? I did have just a few questions. Is there a cost to this series? So, like, in other words, could it be open to me?
I believe it's open to Lakeland College staff and students and alumni, but not for the community. There will be availability for town staff and councillors to participate with our donation.
Any rationale as to why they bring it together? Like, I think these three speakers are very inclusive. Just guess concept or even, like, let's say high school students. There's something setting up how to get hired, set up anyway, it might be something to bring forward to them because it might be a good link for Lakeland College to think of high school students, right? Future customers for them too.
Well, that's a good point to be made. I believe they're focusing on their little bubble, but we could look into that. I'm not sure. I'm thinking that it would be available through, maybe on a YouTube base afterwards. That might be able to open up. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. But right now, I know for sure, unless I'm wrong, Councillor Barr, but I believe it's not open to the public.
No, it is not at this time. And just another comment. We need to be seen as being supportive of to one of our bigger employers in this region, and we have supported them in the past in other endeavors, but this past year we haven't had any opportunity to connect on any of the ones we've done in the past, like Feast on the Farm and that this past year. So some of that money would have been used at that point as well anyways.
Yes, Councilor Thompson.
Like I'm a big fan of these events. I'm one of those people who definitely is tying up things like this to the calendar to try and attend. I'm a big fan of speaker series. I just got mixed feelings on it. We just gone through so much effort of scripting and cutting back and really putting so much effort into trying to keep the budget rate in here. This kind of sounds like we have money that we could spend, but I don't know if we necessarily should spend this type of thing. And maybe if we could speak to the ROI on this a little bit more, like, is it really just is it the supporting of the college or getting some advertisement to the town out there? Is that the crux of what we're hoping to achieve with this sponsorship?
Yeah, so it's any opportunity that we have to promote our community and promote Lakeland College, I think it's a plus. It's an overall benefit for our community. We've marketed Feast on the Farm, and that came out of, to market your community, and it costs money, and it's not like we're reaching out and asking the taxpayers for additional funding. This is funding that's already in the pot for economic development that council signed a long time ago. The benefit on the marketing side is it states in the brochure that it markets to 12,000 alumni, 500 current staff, 7,000 current students, for a reach of 19,500 people. So I believe that it's money well spent, and it's part of economic development and marketing our community. So I have no reservations in this at all.
Councilor Thompson.
Well, just even in terms of your target audience here for your marketing attack, right? So you're launching a campaign to try and pitch awareness of our community, why Peruvian is great, why people should consider working / moving here, all these type of things. But you're speaking to alumni, current students, and staff of Lakeland College. How many of those people are not currently aware of Vermilion as a community and it is a possible home?
It's another effort for the town of Vermilion to help support Lakeland College, and I think it's a good reach for the money it's a small amount of money in order to do this marketing, market our community, and support Lakeland College in this venture.
Just one other question for you. So one of the specials that we're able to was late. And then when it was down, like I guess we're doing tour. Anyways, if you could just follow up on that, that'd be great. One of the specials scheduled. Yes, Councilor McCullough.
So, again, that was exactly one of my questions, is that are we getting a discount? Because we obviously haven't approved this yet, and there's only 2 sessions left. And we're looking at, like, we completely missed one. So I'm trying to understand why this is here now. I'm not really understanding it. Also, it says the webinar series sponsor is $10,000. And we're giving 4, so what of those are we getting and what are we getting if this is approved?
Well, we're offering the $4,000 for this event, understanding that they did come to us late in this. I'm not sure what transpired there in regards to that. I don't have the email chain with me, but we felt that with these other 2 series, it was the money well spent.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm out on this. I think this should have came a long time ago, and then maybe I would have been in, but I don't know. Like last night, we
Parks, Rec, and Culture fought over returning $1,500 to the black hole that we're trying to save taxpayers from. So throwing $4,000 into $2,000 per series is a little much, in my opinion.
I think it's actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I think it's just $1,000 per series.
So we're only paying $2,000 then, not $4,000.
That is my belief.
Boy, it'd sure be great to know we were actually having something on.
Yeah, so it says in the $4,000 per series without exceeding $4,000. So is that so then in the 2,000 we're giving question mark? Yes.
Very poorly organized.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers had the.
If I may, Madam Mayor, again, some information from the Economic Development Officer. We were approached late, but apparently Lake Land will be offering some additional series, and also just a reminder that these are funds that are held by the town, but technically these weren't town-owned funds. We were kind of the banker. Again, going back to those earned breakfast series, these are funds that were left over that we were encouraged to use to support the economic development function. And as you know, in recent years, we have supported the Peace on the Farm actually to approximately, I think it was $4,000 a year, and we did get some of the marketing opportunities out of it. We were not in the past able to afford $10,000 more than this time, but it was felt that we could certainly get some good marketing opportunities out of it, but also just to be a partner and to support the college, because that is, we as goes to college support.
Peace on the Farm is a lot bigger of an event. A lot more people have seen it than this ever will. Plus, our town members that gave all this money that you're talking about don't even get to participate. So I'm completely out.
Any other comments or questions? Right, well, we will call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Who's defeated? All right, broadband minutes of December the 4th are there. Any comments or questions for council? There's also been December the 10th. So, Cubic, did you want to say something?
Yeah, on the December the 10th, we, as a committee, were looking at a new technology that has been recently launched. It's a Canadian company. The opportunities are going to be far-reaching for our community. Technology is quite adaptable, and it's fairly inexpensive. So we're looking at conducting some testing with a few pieces of equipment with another ISP in Alberta. Originally, we were thinking of doing tests downtown, but we've decided to do it on a smaller scale with an existing ISP that has a network. So if it pans out, it just provides us with another option moving forward. Our consultant has done the cost comparison analysis for capital and operation, and so there's some promising opportunities here with this new technology. So it's called CN Wave, and I guess just a matter of staying tuned.
there's lots of opportunities here for working with some other providers to support this network, and so it's something that we're looking at. We're still involved with the other consulting company out of the USA, and that project will continue on. We'll be making a final decision early in the springtime here before the end of March to decide on what direction we're going to go with, what type of technology that fits our capital and operational plans moving forward for the community. So whichever one's going to fit the best approach to move us forward, we will be considering it and bringing that to council. So it's interesting. So if you have any interest, you can look up CN Wave on YouTube, and you can get some appreciation for what the technology can do.
Thank you. Sole source broadband contract for Connect Mobility.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. So that leads into the contract with Connect Mobility. We're going to extend this until March, and then with the option of going month to month if we need to. But we do have several businesses that are utilizing the current network that's in place. So we need to keep that going until we transition over to either a different system or with this existing system. So we need some kind of a contract in place to keep the current process in place. So with that, I'd like to move that Council for the Town of Vermilion approve a sole source selection of Connect Mobility for a one-time payment of $34,900 and ongoing monthly payments as detailed in the attached contract.
Mr. Rogers,
thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to comment, again, Councilor Dooley has covered it, but the reason we're at this point is that, of course, as you know, the original intent was that the pilot would have probably been concluded by now. As you know, we ran into the issue with COVID and the late arrival of components, etc. So the need is to essentially do this to finish the pilot and hopefully get some successful results at the end of that. But that's because of the bumps along the way that put us quite a ways back.
All right, any comments or questions? Yes.
So just a couple things. If we've had legal go over this contract, that's the first one.
Okay, we can answer both questions if we want them one at a time. If I may, Madam Mayor. And Mr. Leibel has done a lot of the legwork functions. I wondering if you might just comment, because he didn't get quite a bit of advice as we move this along. Mr. Leibel, are you on?
Absolutely. So this contract is substantially the same as the contract that was reviewed by my predecessor with legal. He did submit it to, I believe it was RMRF to review. And since then, we've also submitted it to our insurers to have their once over as well. They provided a few recommendations, which we've incorporated into the new contract.
Okay. Secondly, thank you for that. Secondly, I'm assuming that Schedule D will be filled out.
There were elements of the contract that were confidential in nature and we didn't want to share it open council due to some personal details and ensuring that we're in compliance with FOIA.
Okay, perfect. And then my third question is, no issue going sole source with this at all? We're fine still continuing on, even though it's a decent sum? And it could go on for a while. There's no issues with sole source.
I can answer that, Madam Mayor. Again, because of the value of the fact that it's a continuation of an existing contract, we feel quite comfortable that we are very excited.
Okay, thank you so both very much.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Councillor Thompson.
Like a
progress report or a status update just to formalize where we're at with this pilot project? I know that obviously we've had delays, we've had to push into this, but this is a pretty big priority for council, and we contributed a lot of money to it, and it would be nice just to be able to have a little more information to provide to people when they ask questions about this.
And we can certainly do that too. We'll be having a meeting in January, and we can give you some stats update. And then we'll have a progress update on the testing of the particular units that we're having tested. So there are things that are quite fluid. I think in the minutes we've covered a fair amount of information there. If you have any additional questions, we'll be happy to answer them at any point in time. I believe at this point we have about 7 or 8 businesses that are online using the system, and they're all quite pleased with that. The consultant has set up the Town of Vermilion, the regional center and public works building are being worked on. But as far as additional details, we can have those put together at our next meeting for council's information. And we do have the financials done on the sort of the premises of either the 2 systems that the committee is looking at, but I think we'll be in a better position to share all that detailed information that we're going through in January once we know the direction that the committee feels that we need to go with, and we'll share that with the council.
Great, thank you very much. So with that, we'll go over the motion. All those. Thank you very much. Parks, Recreation and Culture, and it's the second piece. Oh, sorry, the service agreement.
Just one piece. Okay. All right. My apologies.
Right, minutes of November 30, Parks, Recreation and Culture are there. Any comments or questions for Dr. McCullough?
If I could just speak real quick.
Yes, indeed.
Just so everybody knows, under 4.3 we are looking for a new member, so if anybody has any ideas, please push them forward.
Alright, we have a committee recommendation there. One is for the non-ice rental rate.
Yep. I'll move that the council for the town of Vermilion approve a 0% increase to the non-ice rentals for the 2021 season.
Any comments or questions? Right, Sigmund, Great, that's carried. Alright,
So once again, since we really didn't have anybody in there last year, we're planning on doing the same thing. So the council for the town of Vermilion approves a 0% increase to all that rentals for the 2021 season.
hopefully we have all.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Alright. Thank you very much. Application utilities minutes of December the 10th are there. Any comments or questions? The councilors. Alright, well, we have before you the recycling and organic collection program.
Sure. So this has been a long process. We're just taking a lot to try to figure out how this is going to work. We talked about this a little bit earlier. What has happened is that, as everybody knows, we can do an extension, try to get to the end of the year, but I'll let Derek talk, Mr. Fortunately, that didn't work. I'll let Derek talk, Mr. Young talk on this a little bit, and then I'll move it.